Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of What in the Ads is Going On. My name is Amanda Robinson. I am the digital gal, and I am here to geek out with you on all things Facebook and Instagram ads related. And guess what? Today, we're going to be talking about Instagram ads. Now, I've pulled up some examples for you, and we're going to spend a little bit of time digging into going through the steps on creating different kinds of Instagram ads. And of course, I'm going to be showing you how to actually use messenger marketing bots alongside your Instagram ads. Now, I haven't done a lot of this, so I've been just dabbling and experimenting, but hey, we might as well do it together, right? So if you are just joining us, make sure you drop in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm currently sitting in Victoria, British Columbia, and in a few weeks, I'm going to, hopefully, if all goes well and travel goes well, I should be in Portland, Maine, in October 19th to the 25th. And then from October 25th to the end of October, I'm going to be in gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, sunny San Diego. So if you live on either side of the continent and you are in either of those cities, then we should definitely chat. And if you have the chance, I'm going to be speaking at Social Media Day San Diego, which is happening on October 28th. So if you are in San Diego or in the California area, that's a conference that you are definitely going to want to put onto your radar and come and check out. All right. Oh, and blah, 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 blah. On another note, I finally got my hair done again. So I've got the colors finally matching up a little bit better instead of the big streakies that I had going on. So that feels good to get done. And so at least when I hit the road and start traveling, I'll be in better shape. All right. So let me know in the comments if you have tried Instagram ads specifically. And we're talking not just hitting the promote button on Instagram, which is essentially the same as a boost button. So let me know if you've tried Instagram ads using Ads Manager. I also want to know, have you tried doing Instagram ads and Facebook ads separately using Facebook's Ads Manager? I feel like this is a feature that is underutilized. So I'm going to pull up some screenshots. I did use these screenshots in an earlier training that I did inside the 360 Marketing Squad. If you're not a member of that, you should definitely check it out. That's a membership with myself, Mike Alton, Stephanie Liu, and Jen Herman. Those are all my co-authors. Almost all the co-authors of the book, The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. Eric Buteau is the other author. So that came out last year. And if you want to geek out with some really brilliant marketing minds, it's only $5 a month. And that's a 360 Marketing Squad. We each do different monthly trainings. And this past training was on Instagram. So I'm translating that over here and bringing that conversation on. So that was a great part one. This is almost a nice complementary part two to it. However, I'm going to show you some stats. So let's start with this over here. All right, let's kick off the conversation here. This is a screenshot from inside Google Analytics, and this is taking a look at the traffic coming from Facebook and Instagram ads. And what I want you to pay attention to is you can look way over there, way at the end up there, and if you can look at the average session duration, the amount of time people are spending on page. And then I also want you to take a look at the bounce rate. And you can notice the difference in the bounce rate. So what is this information telling us? This is basically saying that the quality of traffic, the quality of people coming to that website from Instagram is a higher quality of a click compared to the traffic coming from Facebook. So what does that tell me as an advertiser? That tells me that maybe I should consider treating my campaigns a little bit differently on Facebook versus Instagram. So I should maybe split them out and treat them separately, give them a separate budget, and experiment with them separately. So that is what we're going to look at. Now, advertising on Instagram has its quirks. We don't have as many placements available as we do on Facebook. On Facebook, we have placements in the feed. We've got placements in stories. We have placements in the groups feed, which is not actually in groups. We have placements in Facebook Marketplace, in the Audience Network, in instant articles, in Facebook video feeds, in search, and so on and so on and so on. In Instagram, we don't have quite as many placements, which makes them more competitive. And the more competitive a placement is, the more expensive it can be. So what ends up happening is that if you have a budget and you're just putting it on Facebook and Instagram together and letting the platform decide how it's going to spend, it's going to go to where it costs you less to get those clicks or cost you less to get those results. And I've got another example here for you. Let's see, is that the one? Yeah, here's the one. So here's another example for you. When you let the platform decide, then Facebook might gobble up all of that budget. And that's not to say that Instagram isn't worth advertising on for this advertiser. It's just saying that it was costing less, it was cheaper, and it was getting a higher volume of results. So the budget got completely soaked up by Facebook and barely any of it was given to Instagram. But as we saw in that other screenshot, there might be an opportunity where advertising on Instagram might actually be more effective, more lucrative for you as an advertiser. And it depends. You have to test this. You don't know how your audience is going to respond, where they're responding better. Plus, we just have slightly different age demographics depending on the platform. Instagram tends to skew towards the 20s and 30s. Facebook tends to skew towards the 40s and 50s as far as where most typical results are coming from. So again, it depends on your business, depends on your audience. For the purpose of this conversation today, though, we're going to dig in and we're going to look at how to create some campaigns using Instagram-focused ads. So first, I'm going to go right out of the gate and show you the cool stuff, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So let's talk about using the cool new features. I don't think I've done a training on this yet, so let's go check it out together. I'm going to do a quick screen share here. There we go. And let's talk about this creative right here. So let me expand this. Let's take a look at this preview together. So this is an Instagram stories. Essentially what this is it's a video. And that video has basically kind of like 3 slides to it, but it's all one single video. And it's saying reply to the story with the word kickstart for details. So this is a new feature with Instagram. Instagram back this summer just started rolling out messenger marketing. So let me put this up here. Bring me back up for a second. I'll put that screen share back up. Instagram just rolled out messenger marketing capabilities. Now, traditionally up until this point, Instagram has been completely off limits for any kind of messenger automation, which has been very sad for all of us who have been messenger marketing chatbot building over on Facebook and having a heyday with it over on Facebook. Well, now that it's available on Instagram, there are a couple different places where you can exercise it and use it. One of them is in stories. If somebody replies to your story with a particular keyword, and you can call that keyword or whatever it is, however you want to build it, you can build it. If you build it, they will come as long as you put ads on it. But you can essentially use any keyword that you want. So if somebody replies to your story with that particular keyword, it can launch the messenger bot. So let me show you what happens in this example here. If somebody were to reply to this story using that keyword, wait till we get to it here. Using that keyword kickstart, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to be served a message in Instagram. You can try it. You can head on over to the Digital Gal Instagram. You can direct message that Instagram profile with the word kickstart, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to get a message that's going to call you by your first name and say the October Facebook Ads Kickstart Accelerator is full, and we're now booking for November. It's got details in here. And then it has 2 different buttons. You can either get more details or you can go right to the website. And then if you go into the more details, it's got more details, including pricing, and then it brings you to the pricing area. So that's just a very, very simple, very, very basic flow. But the cool thing that happens when you get this firing and happening is that you're getting engagement. It's a different kind of engagement. So we're not exactly bringing people off of the platform. So if you are taking people off of Facebook or Instagram's platform, it can be pricey. It can cost you a little bit more money. And then when we combine that with different objectives that you want to use for your advertising, that can also get a little pricey. So think of it this way. If you're trying to do an ad to get somebody to click to leave the platform, go to your website. So you're getting someone to click on a link essentially. Imagine that costs roughly, we'll say 40 cents a link click. 40, 50 cents a link click, depending on what business you're in. Whereas if we ask for video views cost us roughly around 1 cent per video view. 1 to 3 cents is somewhat typical. Again, depending on your business, it's going to be all over the map. Some areas are way more competitive. Some industries are way more competitive. But that's a good starting baseline. So if we want to use a lower cost objective, video views are taking place on the platform. We're not asking people to leave the platform to accomplish the goal that we're after. We can use a video view campaign, we can use a video, and we can put it right in Instagram stories and ask, when I say Facebook, I mean the platform, ask Ads Manager to show it to as many people as relevant in your audience for the best cost as far as video views are concerned. So with that, that's where we have that little call to action snuck into the back end of that video. Let me pull this back up here. Let me go back in to that preview. So there's that video. It's just one video file that's been uploaded. It's uploaded into the Instagram stories placement. And then when it gets to that final slide, it's giving you a call to action. Reply to this story with the word kickstart for details. And somebody can reply direct message. If they use the word kickstart, then it's going to trigger that whole sequence and conversation, keeping people on the platform, which can potentially be a lower cost way of doing doing Instagram ads. I'm so programmed to just say the word Facebook by default. It can be a lower cost way potentially of getting people to engage with your content and get rewarded by getting the interesting information that they're after. So that's one example. Now I've basically taken the exact same creative and just worked it into different placements or different formats for you to take a look at. So that is where I'm using a video view objective, and I've uploaded a video, and I've chosen Instagram stories only. So if I go back up to my ad set, the ad set levels where you set your targeting, and I go down, 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 I've chosen Instagram stories, and I chose Reels too. By the way, Reels is a brand new placement. It's only popped up in the last month or so. Both of them act very similar, Instagram stories and Instagram Reels. So I'm fine with having a video ad pop up on both of those. So then let's go down to this next one, a link. And again, I'm using the same thing, Instagram stories, Instagram Reels. And if I go here, so what I've done is I've chosen the objective. So the objective in this case is traffic. So the previous one I just showed you, the objective was video views. This one, the objective has changed. The objective is traffic. So what the difference is you get this little learn more button added on here. So let me go expand so you can see it. So you have this learn more button right baked in here. And what that means is when somebody clicks on that, they're going to go to whatever link you program that to send them to. So that's likely going to go off to your website or wherever you're sending them to for this information. Now in this version of the creative, I left it with the call to action saying message, reply with kickstart if you want to. And I put in that little arrow, the little message symbol arrow pointing down to the bottom right. Why is that? Well, when you're actually looking at Instagram stories, you'll have the learn more button, but you'll also have in the bottom right-hand corner, when you're a user looking at an advertiser's Instagram story ad, you'll have the little message icon where you can send a direct message to the advertiser right down in that corner. So that's why I'm trying to draw the user's attention down there. So I'm going to be testing this, and I'm interested to see how this goes because we are programmed to just click on a learn more button, right? So that's the easiest thing to do, and that's just going to take me off to the website. But I want to see if the difference between a video view objective, which is cheap and cheerful, versus a traffic objective, which is usually a little more expensive, is still going to get people to message and DM with that keyword. I'm curious to see how that goes. So that's just showing you it's a different format. I'm using a different objective, and I'm using basically nearly the exact same creative, and it's a video. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and that's in both placements. And you don't have to use all placements. You can strip out Facebook, you can strip out all the other placements and just focus on Instagram. And then I have a carousel ad for you. So let's skip right down here into carousel. All right, so this is a little bit of a different setup. In order for me to do a carousel ad, I'm using the traffic objective because a carousel requires a click, and we're sending that click off of Facebook or Instagram. Both. I got to stop saying the word Facebook. I'm just so programmed to say it. But we're going to send that traffic off of Instagram. And in order to do that, here's one of those little tricky things. From an objective standpoint, we've got traffic, but for the carousel, we actually have to have the Instagram feed selected as well. So if I go down, 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 we have to be using the Instagram feed as well. It won't let us run that as just a carousel, as just stories. We need to have the feed selected. So this is a cool thing you can do. You don't have to use the exact same creative for every single placement. So what I've done here is you can see, let's expand this out. In this case, I'm trying something else. I'm using 3 separate images. Instead of a continuous video, I'm using 3 separate images. And notice how in this preview, I have this little, it's going to be very hard for you to see on the screen, but there's this tiny itty bitty little thing that says expand story right at the top here. If I click on that expand story, now it is expanded into 1, 2, 3 tiles. And it'll go past, now we're on tile number 2. And now we're on tile number 3. So again, the user can click on the Learn More button, which will take them to the website. Or when they see that last slide, they can click on that little DM, on the little DM icon. They can direct message this profile on Instagram. And if they use that keyword Kickstart, then it's going to send them back all those messages with all the details and keep that conversation happening on the platform, which can sometimes be less expensive. You're getting engagement on the platform and engagement. You're getting clicks, you're getting messages. All of that engagement is very, very helpful for you. The more engagement you get, the more organic reach you get. Those things really do go hand in hand. So we definitely want to drive up engagement on the platform. We want people to interact with our content. So we don't always just want to send people away and click off. But in order to get a carousel with 3 tiles in this format, then you need to, this is one of the ways that you could do it. So let me close that example. Now I've also taken the exact same thing, and let's look at this preview here. So I'm going to expand this out. This is the Instagram feed. And in this case, I've taken the exact same creative. I have formatted it for a square format. And then I've taken that video and I've just chopped it up into 3 different little mini video files. So each of these tiles is their own little video file. So you've got the first carousel tile. I can click and it swipes to the second carousel tile. And then I can click and it swipes to the third carousel tile. Now here's where it changes. Because all of the other examples that I showed you, those were all happening inside stories. And that's a really cool feature. Let me pull this up here. A really cool feature is that inside stories, you can program that keyword and have people reply to your Instagram story with that keyword, and it will trigger your messenger marketing chatbot, and you can keep that engagement happening right on the platform without people having to leave to go to a website to wait for it to load, all of that information. But it doesn't translate the same in ads when you're using a feed post. So if you're using, there's another way that you can do this. The other cool feature that rolled out recently for Instagram automation is that you can technically do a post and have people comment with a keyword on that particular post. And again, have it fire your messenger marketing chatbot, have it fire off a direct message and start up a conversation with them. The one caveat is that that function in particular does not work with ads. So if I want somebody to comment on that post, on the Instagram post, and have it trigger the bot, I have to post that organically. So if I were to put this ad, let me go back here. If I were to put this ad into the feed on Instagram, and if I were to try and say comment and get your blah 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 or comment for details, if I did this organically, as in just posting it myself on my own Instagram without having ads on it, it would work in the feed. We're not talking stories, we're talking feed. It would work. But because I'm using this as an ad, it doesn't work with Facebook's ads API at the moment. So instead, what I did is I just slightly changed up the creative. And then on this one, instead of trying to use the comment and get all the details, in this case, I really am just trying to send that traffic off with that link click. So go to thedigitalgal.com/kickstart for details and bring that traffic away. And that's okay. So you can notice that what I've done is that I'm using, in this case, this is one ad. So technically I've got one campaign, one ad set, one ad. But inside that one ad, I have the Instagram feed with this style right here. But then I also have the stories in here with different creative. And I can click on that expand. And then I can see there are 3 different clickable tiles, and that last tile is different. So you really can format your content. You can format your content for the different placements, and you can format your content for the different objectives. So in that first example again, let me just hop right back up to the very top one that I did, the first one. I had a video. It was a full video, start to finish, 15 seconds long, and it's formatted for stories, and I'm only placing it in stories. Whereas this last one here, go back down to the carousel, I'm trying a different objective. Instead of video view objective, I'm using a traffic objective, and I'm using carousel tiles. And from there, I've got different types of, I have static images inside stories, and then I'm also testing, if I go back to the feeds here, then I'm using 3 separate little video files for my carousel tiles in the feed. Now, here's a tip if you are going to go and set this up. If I just go and edit this carousel tile, if I want to add media in here, click on Add Card. I have the choice of uploading a video card or an image card. This is when I'm editing one, but your screen might not look like this screen. Your screen might look a little bit different. So let's duplicate this out, or actually let's start with a new one. Let's close that, just leave that. Let's hit on create, and let's say we're doing traffic. I'm just going to call this test. Here are some tips for you if you are using that carousel function. Carousel ads work extremely well on Instagram, by the way. So if I'm scrolling all the way down, I want to choose this option here. I want to make a carousel ad, and I'm on the ad level, not the campaign level, not the ad set level. I'm on the ad level. I want to use a carousel ad. And now as I scroll down by default, check this out. I have 1, 2, 3 tiles. Notice how that screen looks a little different than the other one that we were trying to edit. So depending on how you're tackling this and where you're coming at it from, there are some things that you might want to keep in mind. So when I expand this, see, I can expand them all out if I want to, one by one. That's card 2, that's card 3. So it collapses the other one as I go. So let's expand card 1. Well, notice how it's only giving me the option to select an image. Well, what if I want to use a video instead? What you actually have to do is go down here and add another card, but you specifically have to add a video card. So I click on video, and now this 4th card down here, see, now it gives me select video. Where if I were to select the 3rd card, it says select image. So now I can add my video. Let me go and add my video file, select video, and let's just use that one. So it's uploading that video. And then I can go up here and I can remove that image card tile. And then I can just upload, I can just add in, let's add another video card, and let's add another video card, and then let's go up here and delete these image ones. And that is how I would create, remove, and then I would just upload my other 2 videos here and here, and these other card position 2 and card position 3. That's how I would get in. Actually, I might as well just add this in for you so you can see it. Select video. I'm just going to make them all the same. Okay, and let's add one more. There we go. So now it's going to kill one of my warnings there. Now here are some other things to keep in mind. That original carousel that I had built needs to go in its particular order. If those tiles get moved out of order, they don't make as much sense. So you do have an option down here where it has that checked off saying automatically show best performing cards first. So what that does is Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're showing these ads, it might show to a user in the order that you had originally set up your carousel tiles, but then that user might get another impression of that exact same ad. And in that instance, Instagram might automatically take those carousel tiles and rearrange the order of it to try and catch the user's attention. Maybe that first carousel tile that you thought was great, you thought was going to be eye-catching and get people to swipe and interact and engage with it. But if it didn't work, then Instagram is going to go, all right, let's just shuffle the cards and give them a different card and see if that's more intriguing or more engaging for them, because it looks different than if they were to get the exact same thing scrolling through their feed. But depending on what you're doing, how you're building it out, that might not be right for you. You might have creative in your carousel that all links into each other or has an order of operations that it needs to follow. So you can just uncheck that box there for automatically show the best performing cards first. And then add a card at the end with your page profile picture. That is usually selected by default. So let me expand this and see. And again, just for the purpose of getting this uploaded quickly, I just put all 3 or the exact same video file here. So I can scroll and see how it just adds a profile photo at the very end. If I don't want that, I can just go in here and uncheck that and it takes it off. Now, if you do have a physical location you're trying to get store visits, you could add in a card showing a map to your closest store. So there's lots of options that you could do in here. And then again, primary text, something that you don't necessarily want to neglect. This is my primary text area. And that's going to appear, wait for it. And I don't want to look at the Facebook feed. I specifically just want to look at Instagram. There we go, the Instagram feed. And let me expand this so you can see that a little closer. Think about that when you're putting your primary text in right there, right down there. This is my primary text area. They're only going to see the first 2 lines of text, 2 to 3 lines. So if you put a huge big description in there, depending on how engaging your ad is, people might click on see more and expand and read the whole thing. On Instagram, people are typically going after just a quick glance. The creative has to do all the heavy lifting. And then there's the learn more button that will highlight as somebody looks at the ad for long enough. Or go with storytelling. Make a paragraph. Don't make it salesy, and don't be jamming links into here. If I were to try and go in here into my big primary text area and go click on, and I put a link in there, that's not going to do me any good because people can't click links in the description of that ad. So it doesn't help them out much. So don't just take everything that you've been doing on Facebook and then just copy it over and throw it on Instagram. I know that's the easiest way to go, but by taking those extra steps and that extra time to dedicate to tailoring up the creative, it can really help you. Now with this, you can, if I were to create, let me do one more example for you. And instead of doing a carousel ad, I'm just going to do a regular ad. Regular meaning just a static image. So let's go traffic, test 2. Because I want to show you the Instagram templates that you could be using. So if you aren't doing what I just did there, which is creating your own custom stories imagery that's 1080 by 1920 in the stories lens or in the tall format, if you're not custom building your own creative and you're basically just having one image, say you have one square image to work with and you just want to run with that, you can do that. So instead of using carousel like we were doing, we're just going to use a single image or a video for our ad. And let's go add media, and we're just going to add an image. And so let me pick a square image here. Here we go. Square-ish. Square-ish image. Okay, and allow Facebook to have enhancements. That's okay. All right, so now notice here how we have some options. So that's my media. I've got 15 placements using that image. Now, if I go down and I look at my Instagram stories, let's expand that preview so you can see it a little bit bigger. Invalid, can't be promoted on Instagram. It's lying to me. It's just having a hiccup because I can see it right there. I can see the preview. Let me see if I can see. Oh, because it needs my URL. That's why. Because this is a traffic ad. So let's go. So now let's see if it'll let me preview it. There we go. So if I just took my square image and dumped it in there, that's what it's going to look like. And that's a little more boring. Actually, this is Facebook doing its own automation. Well, Facebook/Instagram. It's the platform taking it upon itself to do its own little gussying up, own zhuzhing of the post, if you may. But it's basically we just have a little square image and that's it. And that's not nearly as compelling as some of the other creative that we were looking at the beginning. But there are some things that you can do to template up and fancy up your stories creative if you still have a static image and it's not formatted for stories. How you do that is you'll notice that here you have some options. You can edit your placements that are using vertical imagery. So I can either edit this whole thing in bulk, but in that case, I really would have to upload my own vertical image. And I don't have one ready to go. Well, I do, but not in this example. Instead, I can expand this, and now I can individually edit all of these placements. So there's Instagram stories. Watch what happens when I go to individually edit just the Instagram stories. Look on the top left, I've got templates. Let me move my face over here to get myself out of the way. If it will move. Thinking about it. There we go. You can change the template. So if I click on change template here, Instagram has a whole bunch of built-in templates that I can use that will help make my content look a little bit better and will animate it as well. So I can pick something like, see if these will load for me. These are all sorts of different slightly animated. Let's go down a little bit more, see if there's anything else better in here. I mean, if I wanted to, I could technically use something like this that would put my text in behind it. Let's actually edit that and see what happens. Not very fond on that template. So let's cancel that one. Let's go back in, change template, and let's pick one of those earlier on ones, like this one right here. And I can edit that. And then I can edit my headline and my text that goes right in there. So let's go edit the headline. And we'll say, get a Facebook ads kickstart. And then let me spell this proper. There we go. So if I go to play this preview, so my image is still square. It has a little bit of beautiful stuff happening in the background, and then your headline and your text fly in, and they just look a little bit better than if we were doing this, if we were just taking the exact same square image and just shoving it into all placements. Now, if I go ahead and hit create video, it's going to take anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes to render that into a video for the placement, so I'm not going to do that at this point. Instead, I'm just going to hop on out of there. All right, so let's just review here for those that are just popping on now. So that's showing you how to do Instagram ads if you're just using a static image and you don't have vertical imagery to use. But if you do, then let's go and look at, we'll use this one here. Let's edit this one, the Kickstart bot. This was a video view objective. And then I had a 15-second video that was formatted for stories, uploaded that. And I'm using the stories and reels placements and no other placements. And let me just preview that a little bit bigger for you so you can see it. And there you go. So it's one single video. And notice how there's no call to action button on it because I'm not giving them a link to swipe into. I'm not sending them anywhere. But I am asking for them to reply to this with the word Kickstart. And what that's going to do, that's going to launch the bot. That's then going to send them automated messages right there on Instagram, keeping them on the platform and answering their questions right on the spot. So there are some fun things. Oh, and this is, if you do go to the digitalgal.com/kickstart, this is the Kickstart program in here. And you can get help getting your Facebook and Instagram ads started from scratch and also get the training to help you support learning how to carry it on from there. So that's something you can check out if you're interested. But yeah, this is, if you're not exploring your options when it comes to creating Instagram ads, specifically, instead of just taking Facebook ads and jamming them into all placements and hoping that they show on Instagram, chances are good that your analytics are going to look a little bit like, let me pull this one up again. Yeah, a little bit like this one here, where you can see up here that Facebook is soaking up literally the majority of the budget. So that budget was $98. Facebook soaked up $95 out of the $98. Instagram got a whopping $2.60. So that can happen when you're not customizing your ad creative. When your ad creative, think about this. This is an auction. You're competing for visibility in these feeds. And there are less placements available for you on Instagram than there are on Facebook. So those placements are more competitive. They're going to cost you more money. And your creative better look darn good in order to compete and win in the auction. So the quality, when you look at your ads, Facebook does rank you with a quality score. So you get ad relevance diagnostics. This is a very fancy term for basically a little report card on how well your ads are favored. And you get ranked on average, above average, or below average. And if your ads are ranking below average, that means other advertisers who are also advertising to the same audience you're going after have better ads than you. So they're winning out at the auction and you're losing, or your ads are costing you a lot more. So by taking those simple extra steps to go in and edit and tailor the creative for the placements on where you're putting it, and by splitting out your campaigns, and instead of just dumping all into all placements, Facebook and Instagram, like a just giant mixed bag of ads, by splitting them out and handling them differently and dedicating budget differently, you've got a greater likelihood of being able to compete in the auction and get those ads shown in front of a high quality placement that might work better for you than others. So again, I'll show that other example that I had right here, where this is an example of Google Analytics, of people getting on that website and that traffic coming from Instagram versus traffic coming from Facebook, and how the Instagram traffic has a lower bounce rate and a higher average time on page compared to the Facebook traffic. So which one would I want to scale up? I would want to scale up the Instagram ads. And how am I going to get shown in those placements? Well, I'm going to put a lot more work into increasing the quality of those Instagram ads by tailoring those placements, tailoring that creative, using custom creative for the platform. And then when we say creative, if we want to get more creative with our Instagram ads, you can now, all of us, all accounts should now have access to Messenger automation. So you can start engaging your audiences and you can start amplifying it with ads to get people engaging with Messenger automation through Instagram. So, with all that said, my encouragement to you is that you get started by trying your very own Instagram only campaign. And again, this is not just using your cell phone and hitting the promote button on Instagram. This is going into Facebook's ads manager and creating an ad and eliminating all of the other placements and just focusing on Instagram placements for your ads. So I really encourage you to go and test that out. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes for you. I'm curious to see what your results will look like. I have some clients that we still advertise. We're still present on both platforms. So we still do ads on Facebook. We still do ads on Instagram. Some clients I have, we get more success out of Facebook. So I shift up the budget for Facebook and I dial down the budget for Instagram. I've got other clients where Instagram is where they're really present, really active, and they're crushing it. So I scale up the budget on Instagram and I scale down the budget on Facebook, but I make sure that I'm still present in both places. And when I first start advertising with a brand new account that I haven't touched before, I'm going to run ads on all placements. I'm just going to run it wide open, see what the results come in at, and then start tweaking from there. So definitely get in there, test. I encourage you to make custom creative and custom ads for the specific placements that you're putting them into. Give it a whirl, try it out, and see if you start getting better results out of your ads. My name is Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal. I hope that you would consider joining me over inside Swift Kick in the Ads. That's the private membership community. It's $49 a month. That's where you get to learn everything Facebook and Instagram and chatbot related as far as ads and promoting your business. We've got a really, really good little community over there. I'd say the best part that people seem to love the most is the open office hours. So we're now meeting every Monday and every Thursday. I have open office hours where you can jump on a Zoom, ask all of your Facebook and Instagram ads related questions, get answers, screen share. It's all confidential in our office hours. And then you've got the private members community Facebook group. You have got the replay library with over 90 different sessions that you can watch. There's all sorts of stuff packed in there for you. So you can check that out by heading over to swiftkickintheads.com, and you can just keep geeking out with me every single Wednesday here on What in the Ads is Going On. My name is Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal, and I am cutting out for the night. I'm going to go relax. I've had a lot of computer time today. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for catching this on the replay. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you later.